Okay, so you know those places you hear about, right? Like certain spots on Earth that kind of just feel like they're soaked in mystery,
Oh, yeah. Totally.
like they just grab your attention and won't let
I
go.
know exactly what you mean.
I think for a lot of people, and me included,
Yeah.
I'd say that 40,000 square mile patch of the Atlantic we've all heard about has got to be up there.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Bermuda Triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Even the name, like when you say it out loud,
Right.
it just brings to mind all these images of ships and planes just gone.
Vanishing without a trace.
Yeah, just swallowed by the sea and the sky.
Oof,
You know?
And for over a century now,
Over a century.
it's been linked to all these unexplainable disappearances. It's crazy.
It's a while.
We're talking about like 1,000 lives estimated to be lost in the past 100 years alone.
It's a big number.
It's a huge number.
Yeah, when you really stop and think about it.
It's a lot of
It
people.
begs the question, what is behind all of this?
Yeah, like what's going on there?
Is it just the inherent danger of sea travel and air travel, or is it something else? Is it something maybe a little more outside the box?
Yeah, could it even be some force that we just don't even understand yet?
And it makes you wonder.
That's what we're diving into today.
Let's do it.
We've got some really interesting information to go through today, I think.
For sure.
It paints a picture of this seriously baffling, unsolved enigma.
Yeah.
It's almost like one of the sources put it kind of like reality bends a little bit in this place.
It's a little bendy.
So, like, where do we even start with a mystery this massive?
It's a big one.
Let's start with some of the big events in the 20th century that really kind of cemented the Bermuda Triangle's legendary and kind of creepy reputation.
Okay, so the place I think we need to start is December 5th, 1945, the disappearance of Flight 19.
Flight 19.
This is the one that everyone thinks about when they hear Bermuda Triangle.
Right, so 5 U.S. Navy TBM Avenger torpedo bombers
5 of them.
on just a routine training mission out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Standard stuff.
14 men total on board.
14.
Clear skies when they took off.
Beautiful day.
Just a typical straightforward mission, or so they thought.
Should been.
Right, but then things got really weird,
Oh, yeah.
didn't they?
They did.
The flight leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, he radioed in this message that's become super famous.
Yeah.
Compass is spinning.
Yeah.
We're lost.
Imagine that for a second.
Oh my.
You're a pilot up in the air, everything's fine, then all of a sudden you're lost. You don't know where you are.
Terrifying.
Yeah, just disoriented. Like, how does that even happen?
Makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
Yeah.
And there was this massive search effort.
Huge.
266 square miles they searched.
266 square miles.
And they found nothing.
Nothing.
Not one single piece of wreckage from those 5 planes.
Gone.
It's as if they just vanished.
Into thin air.
It's very strange.
And it gets even weirder
Oh, no.
because then they sent a rescue plane out
Right.
to go search for Flight 19.
A PBM Mariner flying boat.
Big plane.
13 crew members.
13 more people.
And that plane reportedly exploded midair.
Just blew up in the sky.
Again, no survivors and no debris.
Just like the first one.
So now we have 2 planes that are just gone.
As if the triangle itself wanted to hide any evidence.
Yeah, like it didn't want us to know what happened.
Right.
It's a really disturbing pattern.
Definitely.
But Flight 19, like that wasn't the end of the story, was it?
Oh, no. There's more.
This wasn't just like a one-time fluke or something.
Not even close.
So what else happened?
So let's jump ahead a bit.
Okay.
To 1963, the SS Marine Sulphur Queen.
Oh, yeah.
This was a huge tanker,
I remember reading about that.
524 feet long.
Huge.
It was carrying molten sulfur
Wow.
and 39 crew members.
That's a lot of people.
A lot of people, and this time, no distress call.
So we don't even know what happened.
Nothing. The only evidence they ever found was a single life preserver.
Like one life preserver.
Just a one.
That's all that's left of this massive ship, and 39 people.
Just gone poof.
Their last moments are a total mystery.
We'll probably never know.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
And like these aren't just a couple isolated stories that have been blown way out of proportion, are they?
No. This isn't just people making a big deal out of nothing.
Like this area has seen so many disappearances over the years.
A lot.
It's honestly kind of scary.
Our sources say over 50 ships and 20 aircraft have vanished
Wow.
in this one area.
And it's like you said earlier, what's so strange is that a lot of times there's no SOS signals
Right.
and no wreckage.
You'd think there would be at least something.
Like you'd think after some kind of disaster there would be some debris floating on the surface.
Yeah, a piece of the ship or something.
But there's often nothing.
It's like they were just swallowed whole by the ocean.
Or the sky.
Yeah.
It makes you think, is there something about this specific part of the Atlantic
Like geographically.
Yeah, like, is there some environmental factor or something that's contributing to all of this?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
But before we go too far down that road, I think it's important to acknowledge that, like, there are some normal reasons why this area might be dangerous.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, for one thing, it's a super busy shipping route.
Lots of traffic.
Tons of traffic all the time, and we all know the Atlantic can have some pretty intense storms.
Oh, yeah. Unpredictable, too.
And then there's the Gulf Stream, you know?
Yeah, the Gulf Stream's no joke.
It's powerful, and it can be super turbulent, and it definitely affects the ocean there.
And we can't forget about the reefs, either.
Oh, yeah. Good point. The reefs.
Lots of shallow reefs in that area.
Which can be a big problem for ships, obviously.
Definitely a hazard.
For sure.
So there are some totally understandable risks that go along with being on or above the ocean in this area.
Right. It's not like it's some perfectly calm, safe place.
Right, but then you hear these historical accounts, these stories that have been passed down. You know, and it suggests that something strange has been going on there for centuries.
Yeah.
Long before modern technology was around to vanish.
Like way back.
Yeah, way back.
That's what's really interesting here.
I know.
You've got Christopher Columbus back in 1492.
Yeah, I read about that.
It's in his logs.
No way.
As he's sailing through this exact area, he and his crew, they reported seeing strange lights in the sky.
Weird.
I know, and what's even stranger is his compass started acting up.
What?
Yeah, it was malfunctioning.
How was that even possible back then?
Exactly. It just makes you think.
That is so creepy.
It really is.
Centuries before planes were even invented.
Right.
Something was up in that part of the world.
Something weird was happening.
And then you've got the USS Cyclops in 1918.
Oh, yeah, the Cyclops.
This one always freaks me out.
It's a strange one.
It was a massive ship, too, wasn't it?
542 feet long.
Huge.
U.S. Navy collier carrying coal.
Wow.
306 men on board.
306 men.
Gone.
And they were sailing from Barbados to Baltimore.
That's the route they were on.
And what's so strange is there were no storms reported in the area at the time.
Nope.
It was during World War I, but there wasn't any enemy activity reported either.
Calm seas as far as we know.
So it's peacetime in that part of the Atlantic.
Yeah.
And just like all those other ships and planes, the Cyclops just vanishes.
Oof.
No wreckage, no survivors.
It's a tough one to explain.
It's like this huge ship, and over 300 people just ceased to exist.
Yeah, just blinked out of existence.
It blows my mind.
And it gets worse.
Oh, no.
There was a study done back in the 70s.
Okay.
They documented 428 disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle.
Wow.
Between the years 1800 and 1976.
That's a lot of disappearances.
A lot. And here's the crazy part. Most of them are still unexplained.
We still don't know what happened to them.
Nope.
So almost 500 incidents, or almost 200 years.
And that's just the ones that were documented. Who knows how many more there were.
That's terrifying.
It's a lot to think about.
It really is. And as we've been saying, so many of these cases, there are no bodies.
Right.
No black box recordings.
Nothing.
So we have no clues.
It just deepens the mystery.
It's no wonder this place is called the Devil's Triangle.
The Devil's Triangle.
It's just ominous.
Definitely gives you the creeps.
It's like something just isn't right there.
Nope, something's off.
It's like the normal rules don't apply in that area.
I mean, with so many questions and no real answers, it's no surprise that people have come up with a ton of theories.
Oh, yeah. Trying to explain all this.
Exactly. People want answers, so they come up with explanations.
Okay, so let's hear some of these theories.
Let's get into it.
What are some of the more natural explanations, like the ones that are based in science?
All right, so one of the big ones that's been around for a while is the idea of methane gas hydrates.
Methane gas hydrates.
Yeah, so basically, under the ocean floor in this region, there are these methane bubbles.
Okay, under the ocean floor.
Yeah, they're trapped down there.
Interesting.
And the theory is that these bubbles can erupt.
Like a volcano?
Kind of, yeah, but underwater.
Oh, wow.
So imagine this massive burst of methane gas.
Okay.
It comes rushing up to the surface, and it changes the density of the water.
So what happens to the ships?
Well, if a ship is unlucky enough to be in that spot when it happens, it could just sink.
Like really fast?
Yeah, super fast, with almost no warning.
And what about the planes?
Well, there are a couple ideas.
Okay.
Some people think that these methane eruptions could ignite.
Catch fire.
Yeah, in the atmosphere.
Oh, well.
Or they could disrupt the plane's engines.
So the plane crashes.
Exactly.
So this methane gas theory, it's like a sudden and dramatic event.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we've also heard about rogue waves, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Rogue waves.
People say those could be involved too.
Absolutely. They're definitely a contender.
For those who haven't heard of them.
So rogue waves are these massive waves.
Huge.
Like we're talking 100 feet high or more.
That's taller than a 10-story building.
Yeah, they're monsters.
Wow.
And they can just appear out of nowhere.
Really?
Like you're sailing along and then boom, this wall of water just slams into you.
That's terrifying.
Imagine the force of that.
It would be devastating.
Absolutely would destroy a ship, no problem.
So rogue waves are a very real danger.
They're definitely out there.
And then there's the magnetic anomaly theory.
Right.
But people say there might be something weird with the Earth's magnetic field in the triangle.
Yeah, so the Earth's magnetic field isn't perfectly consistent.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it varies a bit.
Interesting.
And there are some theories that say that in the Bermuda Triangle there are these like magnetic hot spots or something
Okay.
where the magnetic field is really strong.
And what does that do?
Well, it could mess with compasses.
Like make them spin around?
Yeah, or give false readings. Basically make them useless for navigation.
So ships and planes could get totally lost.
Exactly. They'd have no idea where they are and end up sailing or flying right into danger.
Makes sense?
It's a plausible theory.
It is. But here's the thing that always gets me.
What's that?
If all these things are happening, like the methane gas eruptions and the rogue waves and the magnetic anomalies, shouldn't there be more wreckage?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Like, wouldn't we find pieces of ships or planes floating around?
You'd think so.
But a lot of the time, there's nothing.
Yeah, that's the part that doesn't quite add up.
Exactly. So while these natural phenomena could explain some of what's going on in the Bermuda Triangle,
Maybe.
they don't really explain why there's so often no evidence left behind.
It's a head-scratcher.
It really is.
Yeah.
So then that leads us to human error, right?
Right.
Like maybe pilots are getting disoriented because of bad weather or instrument malfunctions.
Could happen.
Or maybe ships are hitting those reefs we talked about.
Yeah, those reefs are dangerous.
But again, if those are the main reasons for all these incidents, wouldn't we see more SOS calls?
Yeah, you'd think so.
If you're a pilot and you're completely disoriented or your instruments are going haywire, wouldn't you send out a distress signal?
It's a procedure.
It's like the first thing you do, right?
Yeah, it's standard protocol.
Same for ships.
Absolutely.
If you're about to hit a reef, you'd call for help.
You'd hit that SOS button right away.
But so many of these Bermuda Triangle cases, there's just silence.
Just gone.
It's very strange.
It's like they disappeared without a sound.
Which brings us to, I guess, what we could call the more creative theories.
The more out there explanations.
Yeah.
This is where it gets fun.
This is where the Bermuda Triangle gets really mysterious.
Yeah, this is where we cross over into the unexplained.
The supernatural, maybe.
Maybe even.
I love this stuff.
All right, so one of the most popular theories, especially with Flight 19,
Yeah, Flight 19.
is alien abductions.
Aliens.
Aliens.
I knew it.
People think that maybe extraterrestrials, UFOs were in the area and they took the planes
Wow.
and the crew.
Just beamed them up.
Yeah, just like that.
So aliens could be the reason behind some of these disappearances.
Maybe.
And then there's the classic sea monster theory.
Oh, yeah, the Kraken.
The Kraken.
Some people think they're these giant sea creatures
Wow.
hiding in the depths of the triangle.
And they pull ships down.
Yeah, like dragging them to the bottom of the ocean.
It's a pretty cool image.
Yeah, super dramatic.
And then there's the time warp theory.
Time warps.
Yeah, have you heard of this one?
Of course, time warps are a classic.
Some people believe that the Bermuda Triangle is like a portal to another dimension.
Yeah.
Or a place where time doesn't work the way it's supposed to.
Like a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Like a wrinkle in time.
Oh, I love that book.
It's a good one.
It's trippy to think about.
Yeah, it messes with your head a little bit.
Definitely.
Makes you wonder what time even is, really.
I know. And I also remember reading about something called hexagonal clouds.
Oh, yeah, the hexagonal clouds.
What was that all about?
So this theory is relatively new.
Okay.
It was in a documentary a few years ago.
I think I saw that.
So basically, sometimes these hexagonal-shaped clouds form over the Bermuda Triangle.
Okay. Hexagonal clouds.
Yeah, they're pretty unique.
And the theory is that these clouds can create these powerful downdrafts.
Like air bombs.
Air bombs.
Yeah, they're super strong, and they can apparently sink ships and take down planes. It's just like that.
Yeah, super fast and without any warning.
Wow, so it's like the ocean is attacking from below with the rogue waves.
And the sky is attacking from above with the air bombs.
And the ships and planes are just caught in the middle.
Right in the crossfire.
It's crazy to think about.
It is. It really is.
So we've got all these theories ranging from the scientific to the super strange.
The whole spectrum.
But what about the people who have had weird experiences in the Bermuda Triangle and lived to tell the tale?
Yeah, the survivors.
Do their stories support any of these more unusual theories?
That's a really interesting question.
Like, do we have any first-hand accounts that give us clues?
Well, I think it's important to remember that a lot of these stories are hard to verify,
Of course.
but they're still fascinating to consider.
Definitely.
So one of the most famous survivor stories is from a pilot named Bruce Gernon back in 1970.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah, so he was flying from the Bahamas to Miami,
Okay.
and he says he flew into this thick fog bank.
Like a tunnel of fog. Exactly. And this fog was really strange.
How so?
Well, while he was inside it, his compass started spinning like crazy.
Just like Flight 19.
I know, right?
Wow.
And his radio went dead.
He was completely cut off.
Totally isolated in this weird fog tunnel.
What happened when he came out of it?
Well, when he finally emerged from the fog, he was way off course.
How far off course?
Like 100 miles.
100 miles.
Yeah, and get this, he arrived in Miami 30 minutes earlier than he should have.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
How is that even possible?
Like that thing nobody knows.
So he traveled 100 miles off course and arrived 30 minutes early.
Yeah, it's like time was distorted or something.
It's like he went through a time warp.
Maybe.
What did he say happened?
So he called it electronic fog.
Electronic fog.
Yeah, and he believed that something messed with his plane's electronics.
So something interfered with his instruments.
Yeah, and maybe even caused some kind of time slip.
Like he was transported through time.
That's one possibility.
Or maybe it was some super advanced technology that we just don't understand.
It makes you wonder.
It really does.
And then there's the story of the Teignmouth Electron.
That's a cool name for a yacht.
It is, isn't it?
What happened to it?
So in 1969, this yacht was found adrift in the Atlantic.
Adrift.
Yeah, just floating around with no one on board.
Where was the crew?
Well, the Captain Donald Crowhurst was missing.
Missing?
Nobody knows what happened to him.
And the rest of the crew?
There wasn't any other crew. He was sailing solo.
Oh, wow. So he was all alone.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Well, they found his logbooks.
Yeah.
And in his last entries, he'd been writing some really strange things.
Like what kind of strange things?
Like he was talking about meeting cosmic beings.
Cosmic beings.
Yeah.
Like aliens.
Maybe. Who knows?
So he was either going crazy from being alone at sea,
That's one possibility.
or he actually saw something out there.
Something unexplainable.
It's so creepy.
Yeah, it definitely makes you think.
It really does.
And then there are tons of other stories, too.
Yeah.
From people who claim to have seen weird lights.
Like UFOs.
Maybe. Or maybe just unexplained lights.
Or heard strange voices.
Yeah, over the radio.
Ghostly voices.
Spooky.
And some people just say they had this eerie feeling of being watched.
Like they were being followed.
Yeah, or like something was out there with them.
Definitely give you the chills.
It seems like the Bermuda Triangle isn't always about people disappearing.
Right.
Sometimes it's about these bizarre experiences that people have.
Yeah, it's like this weird energy or something.
It's like the triangle is messing with them.
Yeah, playing tricks on their minds.
It's freaky.
It's definitely a place with a lot of strange stories.
It really is, and it's no wonder it's become such a huge part of popular culture.
Yeah, the Bermuda Triangle is everywhere.
I mean, there are books, documentaries, movies all about it.
It's like its own genre.
It's iconic.
Definitely.
Like that 2005 movie, The Triangle.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
It was so scary.
It was intense.
It really captured the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle.
For sure.
But we have to talk about the skeptics, too.
Oh, yeah, the people who don't believe in any of this.
What do they say about all these disappearances and strange stories?
Well, they tend to focus on the statistics.
The data.
Yeah, they say that when you look at the numbers, the Bermuda Triangle isn't actually any more dangerous than other parts of the ocean.
Really?
Yeah, they say it's just as safe as any other busy shipping lane with similar weather patterns.
Interesting.
And they point to the insurance companies.
Like what?
Well, Lloyd's of London, they insure ships.
Yeah.
And they don't charge higher rates for ships that sail through the Bermuda Triangle.
That's interesting.
It's pretty telling.
So even though there are all these stories, the actual data doesn't necessarily back it up,
That's what the skeptics say.
but the stories are still so compelling.
Yeah, and people are still fascinated by the mystery.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because we love the unknown.
We're drawn to it.
Exactly. Even when there's a logical explanation, we still want to believe in something more.
Something mysterious.
Yeah, something that we can't quite explain.
Makes sense. And there's still some recent events that keep adding to the mystery.
Oh, yeah, like the El Faro.
The El Faro
That was a sad one.
is a tragedy.
33 crew members lost.
33.
Yeah, back in 2015.
I remember that.
It was a cargo ship, and it sailed right into a hurricane.
Hurricane Joaquin.
Yeah, a Category 4 hurricane.
Well, it sank.
The whole ship went down.
That's awful.
It was a terrible accident.
And it happened in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, right in the middle of it.
So even though the official cause was the hurricane.
Right. It was a natural disaster.
Some people still see it as part of the Bermuda Triangle mystery.
Of course, because it happened in that specific location.
And it's like you said earlier, the ocean keeps its secrets.
Yeah, the deep sea holds a lot of mysteries.
And when you think about those early mysteries like Flight 19
Yeah.
and how we still haven't found any wreckage,
Not a trace.
it's hard to just dismiss the idea that something strange might be going on.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder.
Maybe there is something more to it.
Maybe we'll never know for sure.
So what are we left with?
We've got this enduring mystery.
Over 1,000 lives lost.
So many people gone.
Ships and planes vanishing without a trace.
It's a lot to process.
And all these theories.
Some of them scientific.
And some of them.
More out there.
It's a lot to think about.
It really is.
And as we wrap up our deep dive today.
Yeah, time to surface.
We're left with a lot of unanswered questions.
A lot to ponder.
We've talked about the history of the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, all the strange disappearances.
I've talked about the environment.
The rogue waves, the Gulf Stream.
The reefs, the methane gas.
All the other theories.
From aliens to time warps.
We covered it all.
And we've even talked about the survivors.
The people who came back with stories.
But we still don't have a definitive answer.
Nope. It's still a mystery.
So I guess that leads us to a final question for you, our listener.
Yeah. What do you think?
After hearing all this, what explanation makes the most sense to you?
What's your theory?
Is it something natural?
Like a rogue wave or a methane gas eruption?
Or is it something more unexplainable?
Like aliens or a time warp?
Or maybe you have your own theory.
We'd love to hear it.
And maybe even more importantly, what do these disappearances tell us about our world?
Yeah, do they challenge our understanding of reality?
Do they suggest that there are forces out there that we don't even know about?
It's forces beyond our comprehension.
That's a lot to think about.
But that's what makes it so interesting.
The Bermuda Triangle is a true enigma.
It's a place that keeps us guessing.
And it's a place that will likely continue to fascinate us for years to come.
As long as the mystery remains unsolved.
The legend of the Bermuda Triangle lives on.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll finally have the answers.
But until then,
the mystery continues.
We'll keep searching for the truth.
Always searching.
Thanks for joining us on our deep dive today.
Until next time.
Stay curious.
And stay safe out there.